Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat, along with IrishBreakdown.com. I'm Vince D'Addario. That guy over there is Jesse Stiers. It is a Thursday in February, and we all know what that means. It means it's Vince and Jesse, because Sean has a game tonight to call for the Lady Irish. They tip off at 7 o'clock against the Hokies of Virginia Tech. And so he is frantically getting ready for that game tonight. And so that means pregame starts at 6:45, and that means we're out of here at 6:40. So a slightly shortened show today, everybody. But we've got a good one for you. There will be a little programming note. There will be no show tomorrow. I believe Jesse's going to be out of town. I am going to be covering girls basketball sectionals here in Indiana. And so there's a doubleheader tomorrow night. So I'm literally on at 5 o'clock. And so no show tomorrow because Sean's not going to go solo. So a little programming note there. So this will be the final show of the week. And then, of course, we'll be back on Monday to get after it. So, Jesse, how you doing today, my friend?
Doing well. It's been a long day, but this show separates me and a little bit of golf this weekend. So,
okay.
Getting ready to head out of here as soon as this show gets over with.
Very nice. Very nice. So, how did you spend your National Signing Day yesterday? Were you even aware that it was National Signing Day?
Yesterday was another busy day. Did work, coached basketball, had to clean up the house, get a bunch of clothes packed for the trip. Someone's dog sitting the house, so I had to make sure the house was, picked up, cleaned up, did some laundry. So I did not know. I didn't sit down to eat my dinner until like 10:30 p.m. last night by the time it was all said and done. So that should show you how busy I was. I was just one place to the next.
Mr. Responsibility. I love it. I love it. Welcome to the land of responsibility. Although you are going on a golfing trip, so I don't know if we can, but you're putting your work in now, so I appreciate that.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay. Sean gets annoyed when we talk about like the weather and things like that, but the people seem to be okay with it. So I'm going to go ahead and ask, in the Cleveland area, are you still digging out kind of like we were? Like where are you at with everything?
Yeah, there's definitely, it's just cold, bitterly cold. Okay. The snow's not going anywhere. There's probably a good, 8 inches of snow on the ground. The streets are cleared. That's not really an issue. We have a gravel driveway, so it's hard to like snow blow really because you don't want to get gravel in it. But we dug out some dog tunnels in the backyard for our dogs.
There you go.
Smaller dogs, so they can go to the bathroom. But yeah, it's so bitterly cold. That's the thing. Is just you wake up in the morning and it's just going outside and being outside for 20 seconds. Your hands are like frozen, So, just not. I wouldn't call it the worst, but it's definitely not the best.
Okay, I got you. You're slightly south of us, right? From a geographical standpoint. Okay.
Yeah, mainly just straight east.
That's what I figured. Okay. So yeah, we're not gonna lose this snow anytime soon. It's cold. We're supposed to get a couple more inches tonight. So hey, batten down the hatches, everybody in the South Bend area. We're gonna supposedly get a few more inches. I don't know if that's accurate or not. That's what you get for listening to meteorologists, but we'll see what happens. It's gonna be cold this weekend, then it's supposed to warm up, so it's just gonna get slushy and nasty is how that's gonna go. So anyway, since we don't have a show tomorrow, we have moved the We In, We Out show to today, and which is nice. And so the people have come. You ask the people, they deliver.
They have spoken.
They have spoken. They have delivered us some questions. They have delivered us some content, which I always appreciate. And I think I'm going to go to the chat first. If you have a We In, We Out question, you are more than welcome to put that in the chat. We will try to throw that up as well. But we also will farm our questions from the Champions Lounge over at boards.irishbreakdown.com. And that is where we will get the majority of our questions today. But I'm going to hit the chat here real quick. This is from Michael Cannon. He says, we in, we out. Notre Dame will have the second team next to Indiana to go undefeated through the regular season and the playoffs and win it all in 2026.
I hate setting this precedent, being the guys like, yeah, they're going to go undefeated. But if there is a season to do it in terms of kind of how their regular season schedule is going to shake out, combined with where they're at recruiting wise, where they're at the quarterback position, where they're at, current roster, what they did in the transfer portal. Like, this is the season to go undefeated and win a national championship.
Yeah.
For that reason, I'll be in on this.
Wow.
I think there's a good chance that this happens. Obviously, a lot has to play out. But I guess, like, if you're looking at this from like an odds or probability side, I don't know in the last 30 years if there's been a better season for Notre Dame to do this. So I'm going to bite on it just for that reason. I think this is the best odds that they've had in the last 30 years.
I tell you what, you are Mr. Optimistic, and on paper, I can't say I disagree with you.
Right. Like, there's going to be a hiccup, but if everything goes how it's supposed to, regular season wise, like, they should go undefeated.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if you win a national championship, you can't lose in the playoffs.
And, obviously, IU already did it, right? They went undefeated. They're an Indiana team that went undefeated, and they were the first ones to ever do it. And here you're asking me to say that this happened one time in history.
Now you're going to go back
and
to
now
back.
we want to go back to back with it. I'm just gonna take the odds, and I'm gonna say I'm out because I don't want to be. Oh man, that's a hard thing to predict. I love where your head's at though, because I do think if it's going to happen, then Notre Dame has an opportunity to do it. The schedule I think lines up pretty well. All of the things, and I think they're going to have the right attitude. All off season and then going into the season. I just can't do it. I don't have the guts, Jesse, to do it. So I'm out.
You just don't want to set yourself up for a potential letdown. I get it.
Makes me nervous. I just, I can't help it. All right, let's jump over to there's another question. There is another question in the chat that I just can't really answer because I didn't follow the team as closely as I do now. But I want to throw it up here because he did put it in. Irish for Life 99 says, in or out the best recruiting class since Lou Holtz. I don't know if you want to tackle that.
You and I don't have nearly the credentials to answer this sort of question, but like based off of, my lifetime, kind of seeing some stuff being published by, the various recruiting agencies, a lot of the, the Josh Pates of the world, when they talk about Notre Dame, like I would be in on this just because of, and I'll even so maybe in my lifetime. So that doesn't go all the way back to Lou Holtz, obviously. But I will with confidence say I have not seen the amount of overall athletes on one Notre Dame football roster than I have right now. Like when they played Alabama and Clemson in the early 2020s, there was a visible gap between talent, speed, athleticism on the field. Like there just was, like Clemson and Alabama had a different level of players. I don't think that exists anymore. I think Notre Dame has surpassed Clemson.
Agreed.
I wouldn't go so far to say they passed Alabama. It's probably really close. You could probably go tit for tat on that, but Notre Dame is up there of the upper echelon of teams with just overall raw talent, speed, athleticism, agility, the ability to get in and out of cuts. Like, that gap isn't there anymore. And so for that reason, I'd be in on this. And the amount of production that they get from the young players too. It's not like they're just sitting here, 4 or 5 stars sitting on the bench. Like, those guys are playing and making an impact.
Because obviously Lou Holtz had some really good recruiting classes back in the day, but this says since Lou Holtz, so it's all the head coaches after Lou Holtz, and recruiting rankings are one thing, and all of those kinds of things, but I feel like I'm probably going to be in on this as well. I think Notre Dame is doing a bang up job in recruiting. I think you could say the Marcus Freeman era of recruiting has been the best since Lou Holtz. I think that would be a fair statement to make as well, not just isolating it to the 26 class, but I think the 26 class, I think the 25 class, the 24 class, I think those three classes combined, it's a pretty good 1, 2, 3 punch for Marcus Freeman since he's been the head coach at Notre Dame. So things are definitely going in the right direction. There's no doubt about that. And I think as long as they can stay in that upper echelon of recruiting, things are going to be very, very good for Notre Dame moving forward. Obviously, the present, but then the future as well. So pretty exciting stuff, frankly. All right, let's throw up the old Champions Lounge. And we got one in here. I've got to go to the other tab from Black Irish. He says, "We in, we out. Notre Dame will use Blake Hebert in short yardage situations to give the offense more opportunities to pick up first downs or touchdowns in the red zone."
I'll be out on this. I think, and I see where this question is going because I think Riley Leonard, Mike Denbrock schemed up some really good stuff for Riley Leonard in the short down situations, and also Riley Leonard is just like a freak athlete, overall.
Sure.
I don't think that Hebert will have that same level. And you have to remember at the end of the day who the head coach is. Like Marcus Freeman, I don't think is going to put his trust and Blake Hebert for a guy that values ball control and not turn the ball over and possessions and those sort of things. So, we still saw CJ Carr do some nice like quarterback draws last year. He's not the fastest guy, but he's got some wheels on him. I think he could still be effective. I guess what I'm saying is like I don't see what Hebert could do that CJ Carr couldn't do at the end of the day.
And that's the big thing, right? I mean, Riley Leonard had a very special skill set when it came to carrying the football. And I'm to answer the question, I'm out as well. I don't think that he brings so much more to the table what running the football that CJ Carr doesn't. They're both the same height. They're both 6'3". Hebert has a few extra pounds on him. He's got an extra 15 pounds. 15 pounds isn't anything to sneeze at. I mean, 15 pounds is 15 pounds, but it's not like we're talking about a 30-pound difference, where he's going to be able to take a beating and, those kinds of things. Like CJ Carr proved, I think last year, he can take a QB draw, or he can take a QB power into the end zone and be successful with it. I mean, he did it against Miami off the top of my head. He got yards when he needed to get them. I think he'll be just fine. And on top of that, I think the Notre Dame backfield is going to be pretty stinking good as well. And
someone brought up Kedron Young. I would like to see him more in those situations.
Absolutely, 100%. Obviously everybody's got to be healthy, so you got to get to that point. They're not probably there right now in February, but they will be come August, hopefully. But I just think your traditional offense in the red zone with CJ Carr pulling the trigger is the way to go. If you need him to run, you can. If you need to hand it off, you can. And if you need to throw the ball, you definitely can with CJ Carr. So I'm out on it because I do think it limits you limits what you are able to do in the red zone. And I don't think that Mike Denbrock is going to want to be limited in the red zone. I don't want him to overthink it.
I mean, the thing is when you tote someone out there like that, you're basically saying this is like 80% chance of run.
Exactly. And that's not where you want to be from an offensive play calling standpoint. I'm not saying Blake Hebert can't throw the football. He can.
But again, are the coaches going to trust him in a goal line situation to throw the ball?
You CJ Carr's your starter for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and even CJ Carr made a couple bad turnovers in the red zone last year.
Right. I mean, it is a situation of, you got CJ Carr, who right now on FanDuel is the odds-on favorite to win the Heisman Trophy, right? He's not coming off the field for me. I'm sorry. He's just not, So I think they'll be fine with him under center or behind center, as the case may be. And that's the way that you want to go. Next one here from, let's see. From Domer Grizz. The show is at least 10 times harder without Sean running it. We in, we out.
I'll probably be in on that.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, let's just kind of break down the logistics real quick. When he's out, That means Ty has to produce the show. It's
Correct.
not
Does a
my
great job, but
yes.
yep.
It's just an extra body. Now we've
Mhm.
introduced a third person.
Yep.
We also have to, figure out what we want to talk about since we
Content.
are the ones, doing all the talking,
Yep.
whether that's the main topic, whether that's rapid fire. And some days, it's a little bit cumbersome when there's not a lot going on in the sports world. I think
And
he has more creativity
oh,
and a
yeah.
Rolodex of like a bank of topics, questions, things that we can talk about. So
100%.
it just makes Vince and I have to work a little bit harder.
It does. And, a lot of times Sean is able to put together the show during the day, and you and I are elsewhere distracted during the day. And so it can be difficult to, get some ideas thrown around. The text machine is a little bit more involved on days where it's just you and me. And, we tend to get after it, but we are not getting after it as quickly as Sean does. I will say that, because usually in my inbox, I've got the rundown for the whole show, rapid fire, the whole deal by about lunchtime. That is not the case when you and I are doing the show. Like I'm adding questions at 4:30, because I just got home and I was able to get after it. So, but yeah, Sean's the brains behind the operation. Let's be real clear about it. Okay. There's no doubt about that. So definitely in on it being harder when Sean is out. Adon Schuler will have a similar year to Xavier Watts in 2024. Are we in or are we out?
I'm gonna go out. I think he's going to have a really good year.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'll be very. I'm hoping that it'll be similar to Xavier Watts's 2024 season after it's all said and done. But Vince, correct me if I'm wrong. I believe the award for the best either safety or defensive back in the country is the Nagurski Award, and Xavier Watts won that. That's
Right.
that's not. He was an All American. He won that award. I believe that's the right award. I could be wrong, but I know he got an award. The name might be wrong.
Right. He got the award for the best defensive player in the country.
Yeah, and that's a lot to live up to,
It
But
is.
I think Adon Schuler can do it. And I love Adon Schuler. I love the way
Me
that
too.
he plays in the secondary, and most importantly, what I find as like the number one trait as a safety. Anyone like all guys in the secondary want to play the ball, make interceptions, pass breakups, that sort of stuff. But when I see a safety coming down and filling in the alley, sticking his nose into some tackles, making good open field tackles, that's what to me distinguishes, high level safety play. And I've seen that out of Adon Schuler, especially
Yeah.
last year. So I'll be out just because it's a lot to do, but I think he's going to come very close.
I think that his importance to Notre Dame football, and by the way, Carlos has not corrected, but helped us out with the name of the award. It was the Thorpe Award for the best defensive player. So appreciate that very much, Carlos, and Irish Chi-Town. You put yours in as well. I think he's going to be just as important to Notre Dame as Xavier Watts was to Notre Dame, back there at the safety position on defense. I think he's a leader. I think, he's going to be able to do all of those things that Xavier Watts was able to do. But to your point, it's going to be very difficult to replicate the awards, the stats, that kind of stuff. And so I'm out on it. And depending on how you look at it, right? He'll have a similar year in importance to Notre Dame, but I don't think he's going to be able to have a similar year nationally. And again, it doesn't mean he's any less of a player, but Xavier Watts had one heck of a year in 2024. So, yeah, we're going to have to be out on that one. All right, let's see what the next one we've got here. This one will probably take us into the break, I would imagine. Be Jammin' 41 wants to a we in, we out on all of the following players, and if they'll be an All-American before they leave Notre Dame. Okay, and I'll rattle off the names, and then we can kind of maybe go back and forth, or somebody jumps out and you want to talk about them. You know what? It's a free for all. Let's just do this. Safety Tate Johnson, Anthony Knapp, Bryce Young, Boubacar Traore, Drake Bowen, and then any of the current wide receivers on the roster, which is a pretty wide net to spread. So what are we thinking?
I need clarification first.
Okay.
Are we talking any level of All-American?
Well, in order to be like a unanimous All-American and like that kind of stuff, don't you have to be first team, right?
Yeah, like I meant like, are we looking at like first team, second
Let's go
team,
first team. Let's go straight to the top. Straight to the top.
Okay. We're going to cut out the gray area.
Okay.
Tay Johnson, I'll be in on.
Okay.
Anthony Knapp, I'll be out on. I think he'll be really good, but there's a lot of really good offensive linemen every year.
He's getting a lot of pub recently.
But first team,
that's tough, especially at left tackle.
That's very tough. So I think he's going to be a tremendous player. He'll get drafted, but I'll be out on first team.
Okay.
Bryce Young, I'm out. Boubacar Traore, I'm in.
Okay.
Drake Bowen, I think this is where it all comes together. I'm in.
Yeah. What about any of the wide receivers? How are you feeling about that?
I'll be out.
Okay. You picked everything that I would have picked. To be honest with you, I'm in on Johnson. I'm out on Knapp. I think if Knapp, for whatever reason, had to move inside, okay, but whether Rudolph decides that's his best spot, whether somebody, proves that they can play tackle, those kinds of things. For whatever reason, if he moves inside, whether it's center or guard, I think he's got a good shot of being an All-American. I do. I don't think he's going to be an All-American at left tackle. And so I'm out on him at tackle. Bryce Young is an interesting one. This is the only one where I was like on the fence going one way or the other, because as of this moment, he has not lived up to the name, the hype, things like that. Not saying that he can't. I'm not saying that at all. This is going to be a huge year for him as far as who he's going to be in a Notre Dame uniform. And I believe he's entering his junior year. And so he's entering year 3. So like, this is a big transitional year for him. If he can come out and just be very good, not great, but very good this year, then he's got a chance next year of being an All-American. I'm not ready to say that that's going to be the case yet. And so that's why I'm out on him at the moment. But I think there's a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. I'm saying there's a chance, Jesse, that he could potentially do it. Boubacar, I think he's ready to break out. So I'm with you on that one. And Drake, you're not going to find much of a bigger Drake Bowen fan than I am. I think I'm in on him as well. The wide receiver one is interesting because, yes, you have to put up stats, which the wide receivers as a group, I think, are going to put up stats thanks to CJ Carr. But I don't think individually they're going to have enough. Like one guy is going to have enough to really put himself over the top as far as All-American is concerned. So I'm going to be out on the wide receivers as well. I think there's a ton of talent there. I think there's alphas in there. There's number 1 guys in there. With the way that Notre Dame runs their offense, I just don't know if enough. There's just not going to be enough stats. There's not going to be enough catches. There's not going to be enough yards or touchdowns for one guy to really make a move into the All-American spot in the first team. There's too many teams out there that are so one guy centered, you know what I mean, that are going to put up big numbers. That is just not going to happen. So I'm out on the wide receivers as well.
I agree with what you were saying about the wide receivers. Like, there's so many like good wide receivers, but I just don't think there's like a Jeremiah Smith on this roster. Right. And no one that's just gonna 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, that sort of thing. And that's fine. The ball is going to go around. There's going to be plenty of options. Yeah. CJ Carr is going to spread the ball around. I think in a Denbrock offense, like, his best seasons at LSU, he had 2,000-yard receivers. So it's not an offense that just focuses on one wide receiver.
Right. And you got to have you're going to have way more than 1,000 yards to be an All-American. You know what I mean? Because you're going to be going up against guys that have crazy stats. That's going to be too hard. It's just going to be too hard. Some of the other positions aren't necessarily stat driven. Yes, there's sacks and there's tackles for loss, but like, especially offensive line, that's more word of mouth, that kind of stuff. And so yeah, I think you and I are pretty much on the same page when it comes to all that. Craig says, hit the like button. Please get after it. If you're watching us on the YouTube channel, whether it's over on the WSBT page or whether it's on the Irish Breakdown page, hit that like button. Helps us out. Costs you nothing. Just a little bit of a boop. That's all you got to do. Just give us that like. I appreciate that one very much. We've got a bunch of we in, we out questions still in the hopper, Jesse, and we are going to get to them in just a little bit. We have to take a quick timeout. So on the other side of the break, we will not only get to some of the we in, we out questions from our premium message board over at boards.irishbreakdown.com, but we have a few started up over in the chat as well. So hopefully we can get through everything. And then, of course, we got rapid fire after that. So you are listening to Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat along with irishbreakdown.com. Welcome back, everyone, to Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat, along with IrishBreakdown.com. It's Vince and Jesse with you on a Thursday. It is February. We are still in the single digits. We finally got out of January, which felt like a slog to the finish line. But here we are in February, which means it's tournament time for local girls high school basketball, which is exciting. And that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. And Jesse will be jet setting to wherever he's jet setting to. And so there will be no show tomorrow, everyone. So a little programming note. If you're in your drive home tonight and you're going to be looking for us tomorrow, I apologize. We will not be found. But you're more than welcome to come hang out with me at Penn High School. We got a bunch of girls basketball sectionals going on, and should be a lot of fun. So you can come hang out with me there. But anyway, since we don't have a show tomorrow, we are immersed in with We In, We Out, Jesse. And so without further ado, let's just get back at it, frankly. We are going to talk some Super Bowl, apparently, from Irish Chi-Town. We In, We Out, the Seahawks or the Patriots win the Super Bowl. Simple.
Well, either of them have got to win, so I'll be in on that. But I think that the Seahawks will win this game. I just trust in them a little bit more. I think that they've, a little bit more battle tested, played some tougher teams. Curious to see what Drake May can do against the Seahawks. I definitely think some points will be scored. I think the Seahawks probably have the better offense and the Patriots have the better defense. So just got to see, which one prevails at the end of the day. The Seahawks being minus 240 favorites seems a little bit too big for me for a Super Bowl. I think it'll be a relatively close game.
I don't know that it's going to be all that close, but, I don't really have a dog in the fight. I agree with you. I think the Seahawks are probably going to win. So I think I'm rooting in that neighborhood, but it's like 51-49 for me. It's not a heavy rooting interest, but you got to have some. You got to pick a dog in the fight if you're going to watch the game. You know what I mean? So that's probably the area that I will go. Speaking of the NFL, we got another one in here.
Wait, you'll watch the Super Bowl, won't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I guess I'm just a little bit curious. There's like people in the chat who say, out, don't care, out on the whole game. It's just like, it's the Super Bowl. Like you're telling me you don't care that much?
Listen, I could care less which team wins. That doesn't mean I'm not going to watch, right? That's kind of where I'm at. Like, it's the Super Bowl. Of course I'm going to watch the Super Bowl. I don't have a whole lot of interest in the halftime show. We talked about that on yesterday's show a little bit, but as Sean aptly pointed out to me, I'm not the target demographic for the halftime show. He's not wrong. So you're more the target demographic than I am because you're way lower in age. I think they're targeting you. So I don't know if you're happy about the halftime show or not, but I'm out on that.
Yeah, I mean, the halftime show, I think that, yes, it is, specific for a certain crowd of people, but it's not going to interest me or disinterest me either way. Like I'm not deciding whether or not I'm going to watch the Super Bowl based off the halftime show.
That's fair.
I'm going off of, I want to see good football. I love football. This is the best of the best, the two best teams in the NFL, professional football. So that's what I'm more so interested at the end of the day. And it's like, the halftime show, no one can shut up during halftime regardless. So it's like, I don't even get to really pay attention. So, I understand why the NFL, decided who they decided on. And I understand why that doesn't appeal to certain people.
Yeah. I mean, look, I haven't enjoyed the halftime show in probably 5 years. You know what I mean? So it's been a minute since I've enjoyed the halftime show. And so I'll probably take that opportunity to restock the snacks and, that kind of thing. And probably put some kids to bed too, because it's pretty late at that point. But yeah, I'm definitely in on the Super Bowl itself. I mean, and I'm trying very hard not to watch all the sneak peeks of like the commercials and stuff, because I do like watching that kind of stuff live. And so they're putting them all out there. I will say this. I did watch the Jurassic Park commercial. I don't know if you've seen it yet. Extraordinary.
Like, I have not seen it yet.
Extraordinary. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. That was a really, really good one. But anyway, like I said, sticking with the NFL from Irish Chi-Town, he says, are we in and we out on just discontinuing the Pro Bowl? just getting rid of it completely.
I mean, at this point, yeah. Like we've gotten so off track of what the Pro Bowl is and what it's supposed to be. We talked about that idea on Tuesday's show of like a Royal Rumble. You just bringing out guy after guy, and it could be current players, past players. I just think that, and I understand because no one wants to get hurt, Vince. At the end
Right.
of the
I
day,
get
there's
that.
so much money tied into this. There's
Sure.
so much, your legacy. Say you get hurt and now you're screwed out of 4 or 5 years potentially of extra earnings, and that's like, I get it. I really do. But you've got to find a way to make those games relevant, but also protect the players at the same time.
It's gotten to the point where I agree with you. I understand that why would you risk bodily injury for an exhibition game? Like I'm on board with that. Like I get it. And the Pro Bowl was turning into, it was ridiculous. Like there wasn't really any blocking, there wasn't really any hard tackling. 20 years ago, the Pro Bowl was legit. Like there were guys laying wood out there, hitting and all of the things. It's just not the case anymore. And I get it. So just get rid of it. Just the Pro Bowl should be just an on paper honor, and that's it. Like, hey, you made the Pro Bowl. Congratulations. It's like being all pro. Like, I still don't know the difference between in the NFL being all pro and being in the Pro Bowl. Like, I don't really know what the difference is. One's an on paper thing, one's that you go and participate. Just cancel one of them, and then you're an all pro. There you go. Piece of cake. It's all we need. What they're doing now is ridiculous, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in rapid fire. And so I don't squeeze all the juice out at this point. All right, let's get back to some of these we in, we out questions from the Champions Lounge, because there's some good stuff here. And we have about 15 minutes to get through a lot of this. But anyway, we in, we out. This is from Son of Donald. We in, we out. CJ Carr will have a 400+ yard game in 2026.
I'll be in on that. I think he came close a couple times this year. It basically, again, and I don't like to go down this route, but what this comes down to is, will he be in long enough in a game where they're dismantling someone to get 400 yards, right? Like,
right.
That's the thing, is if CJ Carr's got 400 yards, you're probably, spanking someone, or you're in a shootout with a team that you probably shouldn't be in a shootout with. So
agreed.
I think it comes with treading water lightly, but I'll be in on it because I just think that he's due for like a mega game at some point.
It's going to be interesting because I wonder what the, this whole scorched earth, leave no doubt, like that whole thing that, Notre Dame is going to have going on in 2026. It's like, okay, if you're smoking somebody, how long is CJ Carr going to be in the game? I don't know the answer to that. If you kept him in every game, beginning to end, yeah, he'll have a 400+ yard game. 100%, absolutely, no question about it. There's going to be games, though, where he's got 250 yards at halftime and they've got a 4 touchdown lead. You know what I mean? And then they'll put him in for like one more drive and they're like, yeah, that's it. We're pulling you. You know what I mean? And so he won't even have an opportunity to get to 400, although has every, if he would have stayed in, he would have had every chance of getting to 400. I'm just going to be out on it because I think a lot of these games are going to be decided fairly early. And I don't think he gets to 400. He won't have the opportunity to get to 400 because of that. What worries me is what you brought up, in that if they're going back and forth with a team and he ends up getting over 400 because it's just a score fest, that makes me a little bit nervous. Like for example, like a USC, right? We know their offense is legit. We know Notre Dame can shut them down defensively, but like we know their offense is legit. So like if the defense is having an off day, I have every faith that Notre Dame's offense is going to stay toe to toe with USC. But is it going to be 40-42? You know what I mean? And CJ Carr gets 400 yards. Like, that's the only thing that makes me nervous, Jess.
No, I hear you.
Anyway. All right. We in, we out. Notre Dame will have 3 first-round picks in the 2027 draft?
Oof.
3. So let's talk this thing out. Leonard Moore will be eligible for the draft if he wants to come out. CJ Carr will be eligible for the draft if he wants to come out.
Anthony
I think
Knapp.
If those two come out, I think they're locks to be first-round picks.
Same.
So I think we're at 2. I think we can both agree on 2. It's who's going to be the third.
I think Knapp or Traore.
Okay. What about Don Schuler?
Don Schuler could be up there.
So I think there's options.
But Xavier Watts didn't even go in the first round.
That is true. That's a good point. And he's
I think
killing
you gotta look at all offense and defensive linemen. Those are first round. Every team is looking for a stud defensive end and offensive lineman in the first round. So I'll be in because I think either Knapp or Traore would be the third.
All right, I'll be
Billy Schrauth.
Ooh, if he could stay healthy all year. Getting 3, it's like Craig says getting 3 is hard. He's absolutely right. Getting 3 is very, very hard. I'm going to be out.
I'm an optimistic on today's
I know
show.
you are, and I love that. And there will be, if all of those guys declare and go into the draft, I think Notre Dame has a really good shot of getting 3. But I'm secretly hoping that CJ Carr sticks around for 4 years.
You little selfish.
Super selfish. Super 100% selfish. But I'm secretly hoping that it happens. All right. We in, we out. Notre Dame will have a top 5 offense in 26.
Whew.
I feel good about this one. Like, of all 3 of these, this is the one I feel most confident in. So I'm in on this one. I like it. And, the definition of a top 5 offense, I'm going to go with scoring. And I think they're going to put a lot of points on the board. So I think they're going to be a top 5 offense.
If their running game can be like 75% of what it was this season, I'll be in on this.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. I need to know what Aeneas Williams and Young can do. I think the passing game will definitely put up points. There's enough talent for the ball to go around. I think the schedule definitely helps. I think Aeneas Williams is the X factor in this equation.
Okay. All right. From Dom, we in, we out. Javion Osborne and Jonas Walton combined for 500 all-purpose yards in 2026. Those are the 2 freshmen that are coming in the backfield. So combined 500 all-purpose yards.
I'll be out.
I'm out as well. I don't think that they're going to.
Aeneas Williams didn't even get much yards last year.
Yeah, I don't think that they're going to get down to those 2 enough that they're going to be able to get out the yardage. Now, you can make the argument they're going to be in mop-up time and, they're going to be handing the ball off and, all of those kinds of things. Yes, that's a possibility. But based on the way things went last year, I'm going to be out on it. All right, that's a quick one. That's good. Let's see. Clear screen 25. In or out, Spencer Porath will win the Notre Dame kicker job and make 20-plus field goals in 2026.
I'll be in on this. I think he definitely does. And if we're including the playoffs, sign me up for 20 field goals.
Ooh, the playoffs. That's a great call. Because I believe he kicked 18, or he had 18 attempts, something along those lines last year. And so I think I would love to say they're going to score way more touchdowns and they're not going to have a bunch of field goal opportunities. But I think they're going to be willing to kick some field goals this year.
Yes.
So I'm going to be in on both. I think Spencer Porath, it feels like a no-brainer that he's going to be the starter. The only thing that gave me pause was the number of 20. But yeah, I'll be in on it. I'm hoping to see some more kicks, and I want to see obviously more kicks go through the uprights. So let's roll with that one. I like that one. Gotta love when we talk special teams. All right, from JGY Town, we in, we out. Notre Dame will score 390 points in the regular season. 390.
Yeah, so
that's
quick
the number.
math. 390 divided by 12 is 32.5 points. So we'll say 33 points. There's going to be some teams that they absolutely, put some points up on. And if the mantra is leave no doubt, then they're going to run up the score on some people, I think, too, and show no mercy. So I'll be in on this. Why not?
Do you know how many points Notre Dame averaged last year? And obviously, it was only
No.
12 games because they didn't play in the postseason.
What is the number?
42.
Yeah, they're clearing this.
They're clearing 32. I don't think that's going to be much of an issue. I really don't. I am very in on 390 points. You probably could have added 100, and I might have still been in, to be perfectly honest with you. So I think Notre Dame's going to score a bunch of points. So that's no secret from me. So we in, we out. Notre Dame will have multiple games where CJ Carr throws for 300 and we rush for 300 yards.
I'll be out on that. I
That's
think
tough.
that's a sizable feat. And getting both in one game is extremely tough. Like 600 yards of total offense and 300 from each ground and air. I'll be out on that one.
Do you think they have one game where that takes place?
Yes.
Okay. So just not, it's the multiple that got you.
It's a multiple.
Okay. All right. I think that's fair. I think they could get it one time, depending on the opponent and things like that. I think they could get it once. All right. Notre Dame will have, the defense will have more sacks than interceptions. We in, we out on that.
I think logistically on paper it makes sense, so I'll be in. But I do think that this secondary is going to get a lot of interceptions between Moore, Schuler, Tay Johnson, can't forget about Christian Gray,
right?
And some of the reinforcements that they've added in the portal, especially at the nickel as well. So I think it's going to be closer than people think. And I honestly think maybe even the interceptions early on are a bit closer, but man, you just think about it. Like there's games where you could get 5-6 sacks and you're not getting 5-6 interceptions in one game.
Truth. That's a good point. I think a lot of teams are going to be throwing the ball a bunch because they're going to be coming from behind, but that lends to more sacks. It also lends to more interceptions. So I'll be in on it. Why not? I think Notre Dame's going to have a resurgence and get a bunch of tackles for loss and a bunch of sacks, and so I will take the sacks on this one. That's a good question. From Curtis Hewitt, we in, we out. Aeneas Williams will have 1,500 all-purpose yards in the regular season this year.
I'll be out. I think Jeremiah Love came relatively close to that number, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's a lot for a first-year starting back, a back that's got the the full load.
Yeah.
And I know he's really effective out of the backfield, but I mean, I think it'll be close. Don't get me wrong, but I think 15 is a little bit too lofty.
I think he'll potentially have more receiving yards than Jeremiah Love had, but I don't know that he's going to have as many rushing yards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so I'll be out on that, but it wouldn't surprise me if that is the case. And again, it's going to be okay. Last year they had a 1-2 punch. They went 2 running backs. Is that going to be the same thing this year? What are they going to go 3? Are they, is Aeneas Williams going to be able to hold on to his job all season? Those are all legitimate questions as far as like how many carries he's going to get, how many touches he gets, that kind of a thing. So I'll be out for now. We'll see how the season plays out. We in, we out. Despite only returning the defensive coordinator, the defense will pick up where it left off last year, possibly even better.
No, I'm in on this. I anticipate the defense to be better this upcoming season. A lot of the personnel is still the same. You still have your defensive coordinator. I think that they're definitely going to be better.
I agree completely. I'm not going to go into any more than that. I think the DC being there still, the head coach being there still, those are the wild cards for me as far as if the defense is going to change. And it's just position coaches that are changing. It's going to be just fine. They're going to be fine. They're going to pick up right where they left off. Double R 2.0 has an Olympics question, which obviously start tomorrow. We're going to talk about that a little bit in rapid fire as well. But he wants to know specifically, we in, we out, on watching a gold medal game of USA versus Canada for women's hockey at the Olympics.
Yeah, I'm in on this, Vince. I don't care if it's cross-country skiing. If there's an American in a gold medal event, team or individual, I will be watching.
I freaking love the Olympics. Whether it's summer, whether it's winter, like I'm all in on like curling and
Exactly.
figure skating and the one where you ski and shoot things. Like
Yeah.
I'm all in on all of it, man. Like I love the Olympics. I'm all in. It's Team USA all the way. And so I would love to watch the women's hockey team take out Canada. It's their biggest rival. Obviously, they're the two favorites, but they were already talking about it, on the news programs early this morning. I'm all in, man. Like I'll watch whatever. This will be honestly, Jesse, this is gonna be the one and only time. I shouldn't say one and only. It's every 2 years, but like this is the only time that I really dive into Peacock because they have all the sports. You know what I
Everything.
mean? And you could just dial in and pick whatever you want. Like that's the best part.
As it should be.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's a 6-hour time difference. So obviously things that are in prime time or it's not all going to be live. So I'm all in on Peacock. Like I've got 3 screens at my job. Like the third screen may or may not
Like
have
March
Olympics
Madness,
on
but
it.
Olympic
Yes,
edition.
100%. All in, baby. I love the Olympics so much. There you go. Tattoo. I don't know if somebody put this up. Tattoo. U.S. women won today 5-1 against the Czech Republic. Yeah, they did. Team USA, baby. Let's go. Oh, no, I'm all in. I'm all in. All right, let's see here. You know what? We're right at the top of the hour. We will get back. We might revisit some of these depending on where things are with the time and everything else. But we're kind of up against the clock. I was told by producer Ty we need to get out as quickly as we can at the top of the hour, as close as we can, I should say, to the top of the hour. So we're going to take a quick break. We will be back after some messages from our sponsors and whatnot. You are listening to Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat along with IrishBreakdown.com. Welcome back to Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat along with IrishBreakdown.com. I'm Vince. That's Jesse. And we are here. It's the top of the hour. We are here with you until 6:40. And then we will turn it over to Sean Stiers, who has the call of Notre Dame women's basketball as they host Virginia Tech tonight. The Hokies are in South Bend, and they are, Notre Dame is looking for some wins, man. I think they've got 7 conference wins right now, and the 10 is the magic number, according to Sean Stiers. So getting a win, defending their home floor right now is definitely on the to-do list for the Notre Dame women's basketball team. So we'll see what happens, but you can listen to all the action right here on WSBT, and you can also listen on the Odyssey app and listen to the dulcet tones of Sean Stiers bringing you all the action. So that's what you're going to want to do at 7 o'clock. So like I said, we're here till 6:40. We got no breaks, Jesse, from now until 6:40. So strap up, pull up the big boy pants. We got a little marathon here. We're going all
30
the way
minutes
to the end.
here.
Yeah, man, all the way to the end. So luckily, we've got a bunch of we in, we out questions in the hopper if we need to go that route. But it also, Jesse, it's after 6 o'clock, so you know what time it is.
It's rapid fire time.
Yeah, baby. I wasn't sure if you were going to go there or not. I was waiting. All right. Anyway, here we go. We got some questions here. And somebody in the Champions Lounge also brought up the blue gold game, and I wanted to hold off because we are going to talk about the blue gold game. Today, Notre Dame announced that the aforementioned blue gold game will be on April 25th at 2 o'clock. And by the way, you can hear all the action right here on WSBT. And Sean Stiers, myself, and Jesse Stiers, we're going to be on the call. We are going to bring you all the action of the blue gold game. And so you're definitely going to want to tune in for that. You can go ahead and put the TV on mute. You can just listen to us bring you the game, because that is what is going to take place. But that, again, that will be April 25th at 2 p.m. We'll get you guys more details as we get closer. But what are your overall thoughts? And I just said that we're going to be carrying the blue gold game. We're going to be calling it. But what are your thoughts overall on the blue gold game? Do they still need to hold it? Is it the same as it always? Give me your overall thoughts on the game. Let's just talk about it.
Yeah, let me dive into this a little bit. Yeah, first and foremost, the spring game is a necessity, in my opinion. I think it's a necessity for all the players on the roster, not only if you're going to be a starter, but if you're trying to develop as maybe a backup special teams player, or maybe, you need that solid tape to transfer out and go somewhere else. So I think it's a great learning period. There are really no disadvantages to playing the spring game. And also, I think it gives an opportunity to maybe some fans that don't have the means and methods to make it out to a regular season game during the actual season. I get it. It's not the most competitive, but you get to see everyone play. No. Everyone is going to see some sort of playing time if you are able to in that game. And so I 100% think that the game still needs to be played. Has the importance, the what we can actually learn from spring games evolve through the year? Sure, 100%. I mean, there's colleges now who are canceling spring games. They're not even going to do them at all. So I don't think Notre Dame should ever go that route. I think the spring game is predominantly for 2 reasons: develop and showcase your young players, and also give the fans an opportunity to come out and visit campus, be inside Notre Dame Stadium, and bring their whole family. Vince, because if you got 6 kids and a wife, I'm pretty sure you don't got $1,000 to spend on one regular season game to take the whole family. So I think it's a great opportunity from that side of things.
Yeah, I love the fact that they have the game and that it's affordable. I mean, that's the biggest thing for me. Being who I am with the size of family that I have, there is zero chance I would ever be able to take my entire family to a regular season Notre Dame game. Like, it would never, unless somebody gifted me with 7 free tickets. Like, it's never going to happen. And so I love the fact that the blue gold game exists. It's extremely family friendly, which is awesome. It's not that expensive. Yeah, I wouldn't be upset if it was free admission. Obviously, I don't have a problem with them making a little bit of money on it. They never fill it up, and I don't think they would fill it up if it was free. The weather is hit or miss at the end of April. You really never know what you're going to get. It could be a beautiful day in the 80s, and it could also be 30 degrees and snowing. So you're hit or miss on that. You could pick up your tickets, I think, at Meyer. Like, it's super easy to get tickets, and you can tailgate, you can do all the things. And so it's as close to a game day atmosphere as you're going to get that's actually affordable, at least affordable for people like me. And so I love the Blue Gold game in that aspect. From a football aspect, I love it as well. I think that, to your point, this is the time where guys who are never going to play get an opportunity to play. I mean, they can say they played at Notre Dame Stadium. You know what I mean? Whether it's a regular season game or not, it's the Blue Gold game. People are cheering for you. You score a touchdown, you're still scoring a touchdown at Notre Dame Stadium. And so I think it's really important to keep it for that reason. I think, look, the way things have gone recently, the Jersey scrimmage that is the week before is really when you get to see, who Notre Dame kind of is at the end of spring. They're not going to show you anything of any importance, in the Blue Gold game. Everybody understands that. But, an 8-year-old who has never seen Notre Dame in person doesn't understand that and doesn't care.
Yeah.
So it's an opportunity for them to see. It's an opportunity to create lifelong fans that Notre Dame strives to do. And so that's why I like the Blue Gold game. I do think it's a chance. Like, there's always an opportunity to be competitive, let the juices flow a little bit. You've got one set of coaches on one side, another set of coaches on the other side. They want to win. They're competitive. It's why they're in this business in the first place. And so I like the Blue Gold game. I think it's something that should definitely stick around. Don't make it like the Pro Bowl, things like that.
I got 2 questions.
Keep it that way. Yeah.
First question, what's more competitive, a spring game or a Pro Bowl game?
Spring game, and it's not close.
Okay.
Not close.
And have you announced that the Blue Gold game will be on WSBT radio?
Absolutely. And you and me and Sean are going to be the ones calling the game.
Yeah.
So check it out.
If you can't make it, tune in, and you'll get to hear this beautiful voice.
I'm saying you're going to
add some color commentary.
You're gonna get the best color commentary.
I will not be a Dan Orlovsky in the booth. I'll tell you that right now.
There you go. I wish we could do the video version. We could be drawing up plays. We could do the whole thing. The fun part about the Blue Gold game is, number one, bring your binoculars, and number two, have the depth chart, have the depth chart and the roster handy, and hope that they're not putting guys in wrong numbers. Because
that also happens because they're just like, we don't care. Here's a jersey.
That definitely happens. So you're gonna have to keep your head on a swivel. So that's the fun part, especially the second half of the Blue Gold game. That's when it gets interesting. So
yeah, and I think what's super cool about it too that we haven't touched on, and not to super belabor the topic, but the second half of the spring game is to see all the freshman studs and 5-stars that have been coming in.
Seriously. And they're all here.
As the fan, you can see like, oh, okay, I understand why this guy might not be ready yet. And then you see another guy and you're like, wow, we could use some of that right now.
Absolutely. It's fun. Look, the spring game is just fun. It's fun. There's no pressure. It's just fun. So definitely, if you're in the area, come out for it. It's a great time. And you get to see Notre Dame in person, whereas you might not have an opportunity to do that. And again, if I took my whole family and let's say I had the money to do it, we'd be sitting up in the nosebleeds. It's, general admission for the Blue Gold game. You can sit right down close to the players, man. So definitely get after it if you can. All right. Next question here in the hopper. We talked about the Winter Olympics a little bit in the first hour, but they begin this weekend. They began today, I do believe. And the opening ceremonies are tomorrow night. So scale of 1 to 10, how much do the Winter Olympics or the Olympics period move the needle for you? And what is your favorite Winter Olympic sport?
Yeah. A 10 out of 10, whether it's the Summer Olympics, the Winter Olympics, but
absolutely.
I think I appreciate the Winter Olympics more because it kind of breaks up the monotony of the winter. Like it gives you something to look forward to, especially now that football is kind of ending.
Right.
Like the Summer Olympics is right in the middle of everything. It's like right when you're going back to school, you've got football starting up. It's the heat of baseball. Like, not to say it can get lost, but I think the Winter Olympics has its own like prime stage, you know, and to me, kind of helps you get through like that last month or so of a crappy winter, especially the winter that we're going through right now. So, you know, we talked about this earlier. I am Team USA, everything. I love the competition. I love, and the thing is when you think about it, when you're rooting for, let's just say, college football, everyone's got their own college football team. If you're rooting for the NFL, everyone's got their own NFL team. What's so cool about the Olympics is we all come together as United States of America, and we're all rooting for the same people, you know?
Yeah,
like there's no, you know, oh, I'm a Notre Dame fan or I'm a Texas fan, or no, I'm a USA fan. And I think that's super cool because we can come together and unite and be supporting all the same things. So I think that's super cool as a national perspective. And I think that there's no better honor than saying you are the best in the world and you get to represent your country and win a gold medal. So I think it comes with a lot of pride. It comes with a lot of dignity. I would love to be an Olympic athlete. I would take winning a gold medal over winning a Super Bowl, I think, at the end of the day.
I would too. Because I've just grown up just loving the Olympics. It's a 10 out of 10 for me. I absolutely love the Olympics. I don't know that I can pick a favorite sport because they kind of go like you don't necessarily.
I left that part out.
Yeah, what do you got?
Snowboarding and speed skating.
Oh, snowboarding. That's a fairly new one too. Well, feels fairly new. I'm old. But I go in waves, right? Like
downhill skiing, I really like.
Beginning, you got skiing and you've got curling. Like those are towards the beginning. Then I even sit down and watch figure skating. Like figure skating is like some of the things that these guys can do and gals is amazing. The long, what is it? The long jump for skiing, you know, where they go off and they look like flying squirrels. Woo! Like that's terrifying, first of all.
Could you imagine just be up in the air like that, free floating?
Oh my goodness. No is the answer. And they always land just so effortlessly.
So soft.
At the end. Like such a soft landing. I would be a crumple of mess if I.
Ooh, you know what I really like too is bobsledding, like the 2-man bobsled teams.
There's the 2, there's the 4, right? And then
there's one
skeleton singles where they're on like that little sled.
Yeah, could you imagine?
Oh my good,
going that fast?
You're on the same track as the guys in the bobsled, and you're on like a little sled, you know, and you're steering with your feet. And like you can't see anything. You just have to like memorize the track. Like that is terrifying. I mean, you're just like a human bullet going down there. So, oh my goodness, crazy. Ty thinks we have no respect for hockey. It's the only time I watch hockey is in the Olympics. So, or if I'm watching the Mighty Ducks. I'll
probably say the same. I've seen, you know, maybe if a friend wants to go to a hockey game, that's about it.
Going to a hockey game is awesome. Like going to a hockey game is legit. I can't get into it watching it because I never played it, so I don't necessarily understand all the rules and stuff like that. But I love watching Olympic hockey, Team USA. So
I feel like I got to segue into this hockey. I went to the Notre Dame and Bowling Green hockey game this past weekend in Bowling Green. So they played a back-to-back. They played at Compton Friday night.
Okay.
Bowling Green won that game in a shootout. Second game was at Bowling Green. A ton of my friends graduated from Bowling Green that live in Cleveland. So we decided, hey, let's just go. Super great night. Had a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Notre Dame won that game at BG in a shootout. You know me, Vince. I let the people know that Notre Dame won that game.
Yeah, I bet you did.
And an especially down year for Notre Dame. Bowling Green was like 14-6 or something.
Okay.
It was an upset. And I let the people hear it. They did not. The amount of these that I got.
Like, who's this guy? Who invited him?
One guy. He's lucky I didn't come down there, but he was like, "It's the guy with the surf sides in his hand." And I was like, "So now we're discriminating me based on what alcohol I'm drinking at a hockey game? Because I don't got a Bud Light in my hand. I'm I'm a little soft
Oh,
Notre Dame fan up here. Like, what are you trying to say about that comment? You know?
yeah,
But
they're
I had
coming at you,
fun.
man. They're coming at you. Look, everybody, some people in the chat are giving Notre Dame a hard time about, they're in a down year. It's year one.
New coach.
It's a year one for the new coach. Like,
I was
give
actually
a
talking to a
second.
guy at the game. New philosophy,
Right,
new coach, new system.
right.
Things don't just freaking go right to the next. Like, like
Exactly.
those things are hard.
Yeah, 100%. So, always be a Notre Dame hockey fan, obviously. But no, I'm all in on the Olympics. There's Olympics events going on, I think currently. And so like I'm all in. I'm watching. I'm enjoying. So all in. Another Olympic question. This is the largest US contingent of winter Olympians ever. This is the most they've ever brought to a winter game. Is it a big deal? Is it a little deal, or is it no deal whatsoever?
It's a huge deal.
There we go.
It's a huge deal, Vince. What we're saying is not only it's like we're really good at a lot of different sports, but we're probably like too deep at a lot of these sports. Like you can bring multiple athletes to that have qualified to the Olympics. So to me, it just shows sheer dominance. Now, does that turn into gold medals? Does that
We'll
turn
see.
into the country with the best overall count at the end? I don't know, but I think odds are obviously better. And again, it just shows. I'm not trying to, get up here and be like, oh, we're better than everyone. But I mean, we kind of are in terms of athletics and on a national stage. My question for you as a follow-up, Vince, because I kind of talked about the medal count. Do you believe that, how do you rank the overall? Do you go by the country with the most gold? Should it be like gold get 3 points, silver gets 2 points, bronze gets 1, and at the end your overall count is what matters more? Where are you at on this?
I am most golds. Like I want victories, and not that. Listen, if I competed and I got
like say
silver,
a country
great.
say another country has like 50, United States has 48, but we got like double the amount of silver.
And like double the amount of like bronze, just
Yeah.
like way
So
more
you
overall
you beat us by 2 golds, but we're freaking we're going 1-2, not just 1 at the end of the day.
It's tough for me, man. I'm that annoying US guy. I
You
just
want
want
the
to win.
golds.
I want number 1. I want them playing the national anthem on the podium, not sitting in second listening to somebody else's national anthem. That's where I'm at. So I'm looking at the golds, man, like that. And it's tough. Like the winter, like Notre Dame absolutely dominates Summer Olympics. The Winter Olympics is a little closer usually. You got the Swiss, and you got you got these different.
You got more snow heavy countries.
Absolutely, the Scandinavian countries, things like that. And so, I love the fact that Notre Dame's rolling deep this year, and they've got the big numbers. And so maybe they're throwing some more numbers at some people. Getting after it. So I dig it. I think it's a big deal. Also, that Notre Dame that the United States is bigger into the Winter Olympics, man. Like, they're competing in all the events, and I dig that. So, it's all gold, baby. Let's go gold or go home. That's where I'm at. So, all right. So, yeah, Irish for Life says Lindsey Vaughn at 41 tried to make a comeback and had a bad crash, but she's still going.
Did you see that video?
Yeah, I saw
she was doing like a full workout with a blown out ACL, like
correct.
Heavy lifting, like
right.
deadlifts, power cleans.
She's still in, man. She's over there. She's ready to roll. Like I'm a huge Lindsey Vaughn fan in general because I've been following her career all along. As we said, big Olympic fans. And she's in her 40s and she's trying to do this with all these kids. Like I'm all in on Lindsey Vaughn. Like I really hope that she's able to compete at a high level, even with her torn ACL. But it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be very hard. But
hey, you just got to get through it one more time, and you don't need that ACL anymore.
She's elite, man. Like she's an elite at like. Look, if I went skiing and I tore my ACL and I was like, no, I can do it. No, I couldn't do it because I am not a top level athlete like she is. Like she is the elite of the elite. Like you said, if anybody can do it, she can do it. So I will be rooting for Lindsey Vaughn. There's no doubt about that. Okay. Let's move on to another topic. Jesse, and this one's straight from the Jay Stiers vault. Says the other day,
you throwing this out there just in case it goes wrong?
Well, only because you're the one that talked about it on the show. So, like, this is clear because it says the other day we talked about it, so it was you. So, it says the other day we talked about the half-baked idea of professional sports making all-star games Royal Rumble 1v1 style. Okay. So, what if the same idea applied to the trade deadline in professional sports? Meaning, the day after the deadline, you had no idea what guys were traded until the new team runs out one by one out of the tunnel. Buy or sell.
This is a huge buy for me, Vince.
This is very interesting, by the way.
Isn't it? Like, just like thinking of this idea, imagine you're a fan, right? And let's just go because basketball's on right now, right? And say you're like, you buy tickets and you're going to like the Bulls versus the Hornets in Chicago, right? And you're like, man, this Chicago team has really struggled early on in the season. They need to make some moves here. But you don't have any idea. Are they making moves? Are they not making moves? You just have your perspective and ideas as a fan, right? And then all of a sudden, they're coming out for warm-ups, and then next thing you know, here comes Kawhi Leonard running out of the tunnel for the Chicago Bulls. Like, how electric would that be?
Yeah.
Stadium arena just starts going nuts. And then just like, but then there's the flip side of it. Like last year when the Mavericks traded Luka Doncic to the Lakers, right?
Yeah.
Imagine you're a Mavericks fan and you show up to the game and all of a sudden there's no Luka Doncic coming out of the tunnel. Just seeing that sheer like excitement, but also like complete shock or disappointment, like in some of the fans' faces, I think would be priceless. And I think it'd be just so cool to not know anything, and then it just all hits you. So obviously I'm a big in on this, but I'd like to hear your perspective as well.
I mean, the way you described, what this could be, I'm thinking even along the lines of like baseball, for example, it would be next to impossible to try to keep this under wraps, obviously, until they run out of the dugout or run out of the tunnel or whatever. It'd be very, very difficult, but it would be unbelievable.
Imagine like
awesome.
You're a Cubs fan and you're like, man, we really need a stud arm. We need a stud starting pitcher. And then next thing you know, freaking Scooble is
right
coming out of the dugout to take the mound for that game.
Right. No, I'm with you. I think the excitement level would be unbelievable. If they could somehow pull it off, I'm in. I think it would be awesome if they could pull it off. Logistics might be a little difficult, but in a perfect world, I think it would be great. Because everybody be on the edge of their seat, like trying to figure out, oh, hey, who went where? Using your example, you go to a game where you're used to having your superstar there, and all of a sudden he doesn't run out, but your game starts 3 hours before the next game of where he actually landed, and you're sitting there for 3 hours thinking, where the heck did he go? What team is he on? And you're checking off all the teams that have played, and he's not there, and it's like
it would cause pandemonium.
I see the drama. I'm here for the drama, Jesse. I think this is great. Straight from your dome. I'm in.
So, just a disclaimer here.
Yes.
We're leaving after this show to go to Myrtle Beach.
Okay.
So I've got my friends and our dog sitter is coming over, and so if you hear some dogs start going nuts,
that might be why. I get it.
There's people.
I get it.
Moving around outside, inside. So, just a forewarning. I don't know if you heard, but the other day on the show, I thought I was on mute, and I yelled at my dog very loud.
I wish I would have been here for that. Oh, it's fantastic. All right, we've got an audio question coming here, Jesse, and I'm not as cool as your dad. I don't have the pre-done audio, so I'm just gonna put my mic up to my computer, and we're gonna play some audio here. So it's no video, so we're good. We can play audio. This is Indiana head coach Curt Cignetti. And he was recently on, giving an interview. I believe it was on the Triple Option, with Urban Meyer and, that crew. So this is what he had to say about kind of how he runs his program. So I want you to take a listen. Here we go.
I'm a little different than a lot of guys. I don't practice a long time. I'm a 25-minute walkthrough guy on Monday and Friday, and we're about an hour 30 to an hour 40 Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, helmet, shoulder pad.
Wow.
I'm the same way in the office. I come in early, organize the day. When we're done with practice, those coaches, they can go home if they want to, and if their work's done.
Yeah.
And now some of them stay, some of them don't, but I don't walk the halls to see who's here and who isn't. So the one thing I would say is we're pretty efficient in everything we do.
All right. So you're hearing that for the first time. What are your thoughts on the way Sig runs his program?
I'm a little surprised, to be honest, just kind of knowing him and his personality. He's very new school with this approach, and I didn't quite expect that out of him. This is the opposite of old school,
Yes.
Going full pads every day. We're banging, we're thugging, everything like that. What this shows me, though, is they are great in preparation. They are great in their time outside of practice. They're studying film. They're getting mental reps. Like, that's the part people don't understand. You don't need to go out there and thud to have a good practice.
True. Especially in the middle of the season.
Your players need to know game plan, and they need to know, what they're looking like. Practice is really, Vince, I would say 50% mental and 50% physically getting to, working on your technique and getting to your spots. And so I'm a little bit surprised but again, that shows me that attention to detail is very high, and that the team has bought in on the philosophy of when it's practice time, we're not jacking around. We're here. Yeah. We're focused. We're having a really good 90 to 100 minutes here, and we're going to get out as long as we do our job. So again, that just shows this actually, I don't want to say this too loud, but I gained more respect listening to Curt Cignetti, listening to this, because I think it shows how much preparation he does and how much work he's putting in before and after hours, that he feels comfortable to run practice in this manner.
It is you hear a lot of coaches, they live at the facility, they sleep there, they do all the different things, and there's no work-life balance and things of that nature. And I will say, I am like you, I am surprised that this is kind of his philosophy. He seems very old school, which that's an old school mentality, to always be in the facility, working hard, thumping, like you said. That's who I would have guessed Curt Cignetti was. I actually subscribe to the way he operates. Once we're like, when I was a head baseball coach, for example, once we're in the season, if you can't get accomplished what you need to get accomplished in 90 minutes, then you're not doing it right. Like that. I always subscribe to that. And I always subscribe to you got to be a slave to the clock. Like, if you say you're going to be done at 5:30, then you're done at 5:30. Like, period, end of discussion. If you didn't get done what you needed to get done by 5:30, well, then you can roll it over to the next day or figure out.
As a coach.
Yeah, 100%. That is on you as a coach. And even more in this day and age with football philosophy and offensive strategy and defensive strategy, it is a ton mental right now. Like, you have to, formation recognition, play recognition, like all of these different things that you got to do now. Yeah, man. Like, personnel is a big one too. Film study becomes even more important. Walkthroughs become even more important. Yes, you have to hit when in the fall, during fall camp and things like that, get your legs back under you, get your tackling back and all of that. Once you're in the season, I got a hard time justifying doing the hitting and doing the 3-hour practices and doing all of like that. You're just draining legs and you're draining bodies for what you need to do on Saturdays. And like somebody said in the chat, you can't argue with the results as far as what Cignetti is doing. And they were undefeated last year. So he's doing something right. And so I was a little surprised when he said all that. And if I'm an assistant coach and I'm trying to figure out where it is I want to go be a coach, that's a pretty appetizing place to be, especially if you want to have a family. You know what I mean? You're there, you do your job, and when your job's over, you get to go home. Like, that's a pretty appealing situation if you're an assistant coach. I have a feeling he's going to be attracting a lot of really good coaches here, not only now, but in the future.
Yeah, definitely agree. And I think that for the player side of it too, no one wants to just go run out there and put minutes and the abuse that practice takes on you
Right.
for that adds up, especially for a team that's trying to go all the way to a national championship.
Right. Absolutely. So I thought that was pretty refreshing. I dug it. That was really cool. All right. We got one more question to get here, and I think this is a really, really good one. And look, I'm going to give you credit again. You're the one that found this, so touche to you, my buddy. All right. Texas Athletic Director Chris Del Conte, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but it is what it is. Chris Del Conte recently said in an interview, quote, "I prefer to preserve the regular season by playing great games and not dumbing down your schedule and playing nobody with the hopes that you can get into the playoff because you played nobody," unquote. So, Jesse, do you think, well, first of all, what do you think of his viewpoint? And secondly, do you think his viewpoint is going to catch on?
So I love the viewpoint. And I think that there's a different, because, if there were non-Notre Dame fans, everyone would be bashing, oh, we'll look at Notre Dame's schedule next season.
Right.
But there's a difference between what Notre Dame has and playing like South Dakota State or, Mercer College or, you get what I'm saying here.
100%.
And so I am under the assumption, and this is why I have so much envy towards USC. The regular season should be an audition. If you can't beat the big dogs in the regular season, what gives me any confidence that you belong in the postseason? Like, I'm not saying you need top 25 matchups every freaking game.
Right.
But again, like let's at least put a little bit of meat on this, because again, like I just, it's kind of cowardly at the end of the day.
I agree. And, especially at the beginning of the season, the Big Ten, the way it's set up, right? They play their 3 non-conference games, and then they play, generally, I can't speak for every single Big Ten team, but they play their 3 non-conference games, and then they play their 9 conference games. And so, a lot of teams are loading up their non-conference schedule with cupcakes. You get 3 cupcakes right off the bat, and you're not playing a meaningful game until October. It's just not how I want to be as a fan. I'm not a fan of that for my team. I wouldn't want that for my team. And it's one of the reasons, and we just gave Curt Cignetti a ton of credit for the way he runs his program. I don't give him a lot of credit for the way they set up their schedule. And right now, Notre Dame is the only Power 4 team that they have in the non-conference on their schedule, and that doesn't even happen until 2030 and 2031. And that's why your dad and I were talking about the fact that I think that IU is going to try to beg out of that game. It doesn't fit with their scheduling profile with what they're doing. And the Notre Dame series was scheduled before Curt Cignetti got the job. And so I would be surprised if they end up playing those games, to be perfectly honest with you, because it just doesn't fly with the way that they're putting their schedule together. So I love the way that Texas is doing it. I love that viewpoint. I hope more teams subscribe to that viewpoint so we get more good college football games. Like, that's what I want. I want more good games.
Especially if we're going to go away from, at some point, no more conferences, right? Like, if it's just this pool of teams, that's the way it needs to be. And there needs to be not necessarily a punishment for it either.
No, 100%. So, well, somehow we did it. We went all the way without any breaks from the top of the hour to now.
Flew by.
I know, man. Like, who knew?
Who knew?
We're going to toss it over to Sean Stiers, who's going to have the Notre Dame women's basketball against Virginia Tech. You are listening to Budweiser's Weekday Sports Beat along with IrishBreakdown.com.